to all the pool fans from wherever you're watching. We are back live on day 7 on the Predator EPBF European Pool Championships. And the match we will be following is the teams match between Germany and Czech Republic. This is a losers qualification match. And joining me in the booth is my dear colleague and friend Eric. Hi Eric, how do you see this match going?
Hey, pleasure to be with you. Good to see Felix in action again. Haven't seen him play in a while. One of the most up-and-coming rising stars on tour and on the European scene. Seen Peter play once. I think he performed well. So we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, valid points there, Eric. I'm with you. I think Felix has all the ingredients to become a superstar in the game. And I don't say that just because he's young. I've seen many talented players come through the ranks over the years. But he seems to have that X factor about him. He can go through the gears if needed, and that is a superpower for my liking.
Playing 9-ball, race to 9. Be a little bit more offensive than the 10-ball matches you've been watching so far this week. Corner ball down there for Urban.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we're playing with the 3-point rule. So when you're breaking, you either have to make at least one ball, or better, even more. And every ball that passes the head string line, the box where you're breaking from, is counted as a point. And as you could see there, he's managed to do so. And what a great layout this is, Eric.
Yeah, a little straight here. Might have to power off the rail, but manageable. Nicely played. Let's maintain angle here on the 4. One rail up for the 6.
This is, of course, a team match. So this team match is being played on 3 separate tables. 9-ball, 10-ball, and 8-ball. Whichever team manages to win 2 games has won the match. I'll try and give you a few score updates going on forward. Of course, it's the beginning of this match, so we'll focus on our table.
Yeah, surprise. Ooh, miss from Urban.
Both of us took that for granted, didn't we?
Yeah, I was just going to make another comment, but it must have been a little too straight in trying to create some angle. So, a little turnover for Felix in rack number 1. Surprised to see Germany on the loser side. Consider them usually one of the favorites in the tournament.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Germany and Poland are usually the main subset, the 2 favorites in most of the tournaments. But they did lose to Finland. I'm not so sure whether you and me were doing commentary in that match. It might have been Tim. And Finland just pipped them. Nicely done. So Felix likely to take the lead. Gets the break.
Yeah, he's going to be a big favorite in the juniors division this week. Look for Walter Likely to be a strong contender in the under 23 as well. About 4 or 5 other players that can give him a run for his money. But he's the current world junior champion. Walter and Felix had a showdown in the semifinals of that tournament. Ended up going hill-hill. See what Felix can get going on the break here. Players will be cutting the cue ball to the same rail they're breaking off of, same side of the table they're breaking off of. So look for Felix to make the 2 ball here, cutting the cue ball to the left long rail.
Yeah, when you're using the cut break, the sweet spot is right in between the first and the second diamond, middle diamond. So for example, if you look at the bottom middle pocket towards the right, you'll see dots on the table. In between the first and the second would be the sweet spot for a cut break.
Yeah, this is the break we use on most of the regional tours in my area, actually. So I'm pretty familiar with it. We use templates, same as using tap balls. We caught that one slightly thin, and that can tend to jam out the corner ball.
Yeah, and it
And
was
an
not a
illegal
legal
break
break.
as well. Yeah, go ahead.
No, we literally was saying the same thing. It was an illegal break, so now he'll have to pay a push out here.
Yeah, and because it's illegal, Peter has the option to put Felix back in. Never want to be the first player pushing. You always want to be the one making the decision. Just left him a tester here. He can hit it light enough to hold the area between the 5-8. Have to really trust the roll of the table here. Never want to be pocketing a long shot like this at slow speed, but he's going to be forced to if he takes offense here.
Yeah, particularly off the rail makes it even harder. I think that was a pretty good push out by Felix.
Decided to come around. There was the path that he went on. Decent thought there from Peter, but he's underhit it. Can play the cue ball behind the 4 here. Too much right spin, so advantage back to Vogel now.
Vogel has
A lot of
also
balls
got that.
high.
Exactly, he's got that same option available to him. If he can get in tight behind the 4, that would be a real advantage.
Yeah, it's going to be the key on this save. Ton of blockers, but really looking to get up tight to another ball. Didn't expect it to be the 5, but it turned out to be that way.
Yeah. But even though he's managed to get it safe, that 5 is now partially blocking, well, not partially, it's blocking the pathway for the 4.
Yeah, I think the combo's just easy enough that either player that gets on the 3 will favor the combo. If they get straight on the 3, they could roll through for the 4 in the top right. Nice thing is the 3 is nice and close to the 4-5, so Should be able to manage something. Two railer here for Urban. This one's going to get past the side. Too tough to try any kind of combo here. Looks like Vogel can slide the 2 past the 4.
I think he's left a gap there.
Yeah, that'd be an unfortunate gap to find, but possible. Gotta jump at it. Short jump. You're reaching over the side of the table, a little awkward on the body positioning. Shot.
This individual skill has been such a game changer over the years, hasn't it, Eric?
Yeah, you see players like Febr, Gorst, particularly Joshua Filler too, a strong jumper, Jason Shaw. They're just never in trouble. You really got to get the cue ball right up to the ball you're playing safe behind, or you can't really feel safe.
Might have to take the 4 into the same corner pocket. Do not know whether it passes the 7. 6 ball, I mean.
Shot from Urban, and he's looking good now to take his first rack of the match. Both players stealing each other's breaks if he is able to get through these.
So Eric, as a player, when you're sat in your chair, are there any signs you look for when you see your opponent at the table? Any sign of anything you can decode as a weakness or something?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I teach a lot, so I'm a stickler on the fundamentals. So if I see someone with weak fundamentals, kind of bad timing, I probably know I'm in a good match. I mean, it's a tricky thing to do to not worry about your opponent too much, and really that's what you want to do. You kind of want to just play your own game. But, you know, small things. If they're getting emotional, maybe try to jump on them a little more, but that's always something you're trying to do. Really just got to try to go out and play the same game every time you're at the table, you know? Like, it's easy to kind of get in a match where you feel like you're a big favorite and you're just kind of coasting. But that's not good practice for when you're actually playing a player that you know is going to challenge you. All of a sudden, you're playing 2 different games against 2 different players, right? So it's easier said than done, but I think just trying to stay within your own game is usually a good game plan.
Yeah, I fully agree. And it's interesting, you mentioned you're a big fan of fundamentals. I'm all about fundamentals. My background is snooker, and well, you can't play the game of snooker if you do not have proper fundamentals. It is that simple.
Yeah, and there's some players you can just pick it up within 5 shots. That there are shots that are likely going to get them. Like Felix's textbook. Nice medium backstroke length, nice and compact over the ball. Times the ball real well.
Yeah, I do agree for sure. Let's see if Petr can make a good break here.
Corner
One
ball's
ball
down. He's
down.
got the he's got the break going good. Gonna be a little hard to get it in the short side of the 5 here. I think a straight back draw angle is the only chance he really has, or an angle where he can. Oh, he's thinking about moving the 6. That's a smart play. I like this.
Yeah, it's either remove the 6 or leave yourself a nice angle on the 4, like you said, to go around the table. Play good position on the 5. It looks really tight in the jaw, doesn't it? Yeah, nicely done. Although,
Yeah, he's pushed it over on the other side a bit, but he does have the top right available for the 5 now. Likely 3 rails back from the 4 to the 5. And then the long side.
I mean, if you're playing on the left side of the table, you basically need to make sure that your cue ball is going to land on the top rail.
Yeah, and the 8's kind of in the way of the 3 rail play. He might actually be forced to go 2 rails here, which is less conventional. Looks like he can't. He actually does want to get pretty high into the 3rd rail, so 3 rails still available here. Just complicated a little bit with where the 8 is. I don't like getting to there, but he is worried about where the 8 is.
Yeah, so if he's going at least 3 rails, he'll have to go from the left side of the 8, so in between the gap of the 8 and the 7. And like you say, I feel that's a very narrow angle to land on the 5. Shot clock ticking.
Yeah, I like this 2 rail play here. Not the typical way you'd play that, but avoided the 8 nicely.
Yeah, played to perfection, has to be said.
Just checking if the 7 passes the 9 into the bottom right. Not quite clear if it does. Still has it in the bottom left if he needs to. I think it does pass in both pockets. He got a little too much angle here. Might be forced to play the top right now with the 7.
Lost his cue ball there.
Yeah, like stunning past the side on that one. Doesn't look like he has the pocketing angle. He's right down on it. He wants it to be there. Safes are tough. Looks like he might barely have it, Arya.
I believe the only pocket available to him is top right. Oh, bank shot.
Yeah, just decided to get aggressive there. It's come out okay. Felix can go play the 7 into the bottom short rail, using the 8-9 as blockers. That's a couple mistakes from Urban in the first 3 games here.
Yeah. Missed opportunity for sure. Nice cue ball. A nice object ball. From this camera angle, I would say advantage Felix.
8 ball's the only thing that can save him here. It's not gonna. So Vogel's gonna steal the break off Petr here.
Yeah, and the most painful part of that is it's self-inflicted, isn't it, Eric?
Yeah, miss ball, miss position.
Although he could have played that one a bit better. In between, likely to take it into the top. No, he's going for a middle. Did the right thing, geared himself up for the middle pocket, and he's executed it to perfection.
Vogel missed the corner ball on his first break. Was illegal, actually. So looking to clean that up a little bit.
Felix, his fellow countrymen, all are in the lead currently as we speak.
Illegal again, area. Ball's just kind of jamming up at the top end.
Yeah, he's likely to return. He already reached for his cue, knew the outcome of this decision.
Looking again to possibly challenge him into some tough pocketing. Might just leave an edge here. Oh, a jump. He's going to get this back. Urban decided to get aggressive here.
Yeah.
I mean, the variable on this, the variable on this shot is that there's so many balls to hide behind if you end up missing the ball. I mean, you could think the same with the cue ball too. I don't mind giving this one back, but wow.
But if you can jump like that,
can't argue with that. Nice shot.
Yeah, and that's a fascinating point you just made there. I do believe it depends who you're playing. Like if you were playing Febr Gorst, you're more or less forced into taking it.
Agreed. Yeah, that's when you think about the strength of your opponent. Like, what are their strengths?
Could have done with a bit more angle here on the 4. Might have to just go past the 7 for the 5 in the side. Don't know whether you can power this in on and off the side rail. He could. Nicely done. would be ill-advised to try and run into the 9. Just screw past it for the 6. Well, has to be said, Eric. Every credit to him. He took on that difficult jump, and it's looking like he's being rewarded for it.
Yeah, hit it perfectly. Had a comfortable position on the 2 and stayed in line from there.
It never ceases to surprise me how the conventional pool players, they try everything within their power not to grab for the bridge.
Oh yeah, you see it now. 8-inch extensions, kind of bridging at the joint. It's just become commonplace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I told you a little bit about my background. There was a tournament, I believe it was the Masters, and two of our finest with the extension, or the what we call it, the rest, the bridge. And Sean Murphy, he won the tournament, but he played, I believe, 52 shots with the bridge and made all 52 shots.
Amazing. What a stat that is.
Slightly underhit that one.
Ooh,
Oh
body
my.
movement on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's an easy miss ball, but it also seen the body movement, so Urban's going to have to pick that, clean that up going forward, especially against a player like Vogel.
Mentally, that really feels like a bad miss after such a great jump, and looked for all the world he's going to run the table, but well, he's missed a shot that you'd expect these top pros to make 99 out of 100.
Only bright side for him so far is he's been breaking well. Just has to forget about that one and try to stay in the match here. Because at some point you would assume Vogel will start breaking well too. He's got another good one, 3 balls down. No shot on the 2. Might have to go all in behind the 3 here. Leave the 2 out in the open a little bit. Could draw the cue ball between the 3-8 and try to get behind the 2. Create a little more distance. Or behind the 3, pardon me. Actually played a
Overhit the 2.
smart 2-way there. Yeah, go ahead.
No, he's just overhit the 2 ball. I mean, the cue ball was fine, but he hit it way too hard.
Yeah, but the thing was he had a chance to make it too. But you're right, just too much speed. Could have cued it lower and kept the speed down.
Possible bank, you reckon?
Could. Had to cut at it, so just not considering it quite high enough percentage. Urban could make the 9 here. It's lying pretty good.
Yeah, great call. Keep an eye out on the 9 here.
Just missed it. Felix is going to have to play the 2 on the side with some speed. I'll keep the speed down as much as possible. But really going to have to punch to the left a bit here. Not ideal when playing into the side sharply.
Just a quick score update. Tobias Bongers currently 3-0 in front. And Yuma Durner also 3-1 in front. So it's looking good right now for Germany.
There's 2 shots here. He can try to slow draw the cue ball around 2 rails or come 3 rails around the 7. Kind of like going around the 7. He stunned it a little too much. Jump for the 9 here. He's going to get behind it. Jump time for Vogel now.
Yeah.
He was trying to come a little longer where he was never going to get behind the 9, and you can see his reaction there. Just didn't expect to get that wide off the first rail. He's got it. Shot.
Great jump.
Distance now for Vogel, but less difficulty than the last shot here.
Yeah, you think one big shot here on the 7 ball. He should be home and dry.
Not there. Big break for Urban. Didn't want to go down 3 games early.
I don't know why, Eric, but you might elaborate on this. You see this happen a lot when a player pulls out a piece of magic, and then usually the next shot they tend to miss it. It's hard to explain, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like going off an emotional high that you're not used to. And then, yeah, just kind of a change in mental makeup from the from shot to shot that you're not. It's not typical.
Well, nevertheless,
Carlo Beato played a. Go ahead, yeah.
No. I was curious to hear what you were about to say.
Carlo Beato played a crazy double bank jump shot in the final of the World Team Championships, and he had a tough offensive shot on his next one, and he ended up playing safe. And I took note of it. Like, usually when you make one show shot like that, your intuition is that you want to run the whole rack and maybe make another one. But I noted the experience that he just knew his percentages on the second one weren't high enough. So things like that too. You tend to want to be more aggressive after you were just aggressive. But Beato making the proper choice in that situation.
That's fascinating insight. That's something we see happen a lot. Of course, you know, the top pros. It's probably one of the reasons they have separated themselves from all the other excellent players. I thought that 2 was going to drop. Yeah, a couple of turnovers we've had in this match. Surprising mistakes.
Yeah, Vogel hasn't made the corner ball yet. That was his first legal break, but still failing to pocket a ball. Gerben's going to have a go at this one. Nicely played. Avoiding everything coming back towards the 2. Make some movement from 5 to 6.
I have to say, Eric, table and the layout is sitting pretty for my liking.
Yeah, just the 5 to the 6, really. So we hit this a bit. Still going to be okay. Room to play onto the short rail and back towards the 5. Bit of a similar situation he had when he was coming into from the 4 to the 5 a couple racks ago. Where the 7 is just slightly in the way of the 3 rail position. Not quite as bad as where the 8 was. Gonna have to really power out of it if he wants to go 3 rails now.
Yeah, it might even go just 1 rail forward. Either way, he'll have to time this shot to perfection. No, forward seems unlikely.
Good shot, good recovery. Doesn't want to be on the rail here. But he has angle, should be okay. Loosen the cue ball a little bit. It's a little straight now, Arya.
Yeah. He'll shake it ahead. He's left himself in a horrible spot.
Yeah, I think he can really only come straight back here and accept the angle on the 8. Gonna have to elevate. Yeah, going forward, he's going into the 9. Might try to be punched right directly into the 8. Didn't like it. He's in trouble here.
There is a chance he can kick it into the bottom middle pocket. But it's definitely not a guarantee by any means.
It's looking like he's going all in on the kick. I'd prefer a kick safe on this one. It's close to the rail, so it's much more makeable than if it was even twice the distance from the rail that it is now. But the percentage play, I think, is a kick safe here. See how he does.
Yeah, I think he's playing it with an element of safety in mind. Wow.
Oh, never expected to catch the 9.
No. Well, what a mistake that was.
Yeah, another turnover to Vogel. And really, Petter, mainly because of Vogel's break, could have won 4 of the first 5 games here. 5 of the first 6, really.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to take a timeout. He is. 5 minutes. Just to have a quick look on the score update. So Tobias Bongers, representing Team Germany, is 4-0 up against David Zalman. And Yuma Dörner, also representing Germany, he's 4-2 up against Roman Hiebler. So Germany right now in a dominant position. We'll just take a short break and we'll be back to resume this match.
Both players coming back into the arena. It's going to be Urban to break in rack number 7. This is Eric Orlovsson, joined by my colleague Arya Sarabi.
That's good enough for me, Eric.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's still quite early from where you're doing commentary, so
It is.
nailed it as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you could see that cue ball. If you're watching on YouTube, you can rewind it back for 10 seconds. That cue ball was exactly heading into the middle of the third and the first diamond, or the diamond closest to the middle pocket. That's exactly the sweet spot if you're playing the cut break.
Yeah, anything thicker, you're risking the corner ball going too high the pocket, and anything too thinner, you're risking it getting jammed out on the way there. Safe here for Urban. Pardon me, he did have it. This is a good positional shot from where he was at.
Yeah, it was tough to tell from that camera angle, but well, we can just adjust the word safely in.
6, 7, 8, 9 at the same end of the table, but he's underdrawn this. See
Yeah,
how aggressive he wants to get here.
This is a lot tougher now.
Undercut. And Urban is really going to have to step up his play if he wants to hang with Vogel here. Just too many mistakes for a player of Vogel's caliber.
Yeah, and that was perhaps the perfect scenario. You make one good shot, and then all of a sudden, the next shot is actually a lot easier in terms of positional play, and then you make a mess of it, and this is the result.
Not much cue ball movement in the last 4 balls. And Vogel looks to be loosening up a bit.
So I was going to ask you, Eric, what are your thoughts on the shot clock in general?
I think it's definitely good for anything televised, and I think it takes away one player using slow play as kind of a tactic, which is in the spirit of the game, especially playing rotation. I mean, the numbers on the balls are dictating what your next shot's going to be. You know, sometimes when you're playing safe, you might have to think for an extra little while, but you have the extension for those cases. When you're just running out in rotation, I think 30 seconds is plenty of time. Keeps the game moving. We're actually on a 35-second shot clock here at the European Championships.
Yeah, it's become commonplace on, like you said, these televised tournaments, even in tennis, 30 seconds to serve. I think it's a nice addition. It just makes it a bit easier on the eye for my liking.
Yeah, even in American baseball, they've brought in a kind of a shot clock between pitches, which they never had for the first 125 years of the game, but just, kind of get on with it type thing.
Well, Felix now 3 racks in front. If he can now start producing some good breaks, I think this is probably the point in the match where he'll pull away and make the gap too big of a deficit for Petr to overcome.
There's the corner ball. That's the one he wants. Shot on the 1. Gonna have to open up the 5-7 off the first shot and develop something towards the 2. Kind of like drawing into the top side of the 5. Stunning, maybe. But I think going underneath it, just not going to develop anything positive enough towards the 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely needs to hit this 5 half ball, if not even fuller.
Not bad.
Possibly 2 to the side and then 4 to the opposite side.
Yeah, corner ideally, but definitely playing into that area. Sharp one here. Just got to focus on the pocketing. Nicely done. Gonna have to punch a bit to get some angle going to the right here, but nice and close to the 4. It's good now, Arya, and this is what you were alluding to. When Bogo starts getting the break going, it's going to make all those mistakes from Urban just compound a little bit. And it looks like it's going to be on Febr to throw in a good rack. Rack number 9.
Well, I would even go as far as to say from this point onwards, Febr has to play some of his best stuff and probably make no mistakes just to give himself a chance.
Absolutely, especially considering the alternate break format.
Now, earlier in this match, Felix had a similar angle on the 9 and he did miss it. But, well, even then, it was a big surprise to all of us. So, just making sure he takes a bit more time on this.
Got this one down, and that's his first break-in run of the match. Comfortable lead now.
And this is another thing, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Whenever you watch, particularly in Cue Sports, whenever you watch a favorite player at the table and they're not been playing to the standard that we are used to seeing them, and, well, it basically feels like a missed opportunity for the underdog, and then all of a sudden they actually start playing towards their normal standard, and they just run away with the match. It's just, you know, they're not going to keep missing and underproducing.
Yeah, I mean, there becomes a point in the match where you kind of just let things go. I think a lot of the pressure, especially for the underdog, is at the beginning of the match, and the reality is the beginning of the match is very important for the underdog, because when the favorite gets ahead at the beginning, they become even more confident than they were at the start of the match. So, but when you're playing alternate breaks like this, it really changes everything. The outcome is kind of out of your control. Once you've got into that deficit, something out of the ordinary has to happen to come back, really.
Yeah, exactly. If you can keep up, even though you might be an unfamiliar face to them, you know, if the scoreline is always one rack in it, then you know, they will feel a bit of pressure. Like you say, if you let them get ahead of you, they just settle down even more. Now, this two
Yeah,
ball,
and
Eric, quite
yeah,
tight,
he
isn't
might
it?
just have. Yeah, I think he just has enough. Oh, he had to spin it in. Beautiful shot.
You were trying to say
Judge that.
something, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think the other part of that too is that you know, when the favor comes in, they expect to have an easy match, and if you put them in a match, now they can be a little off keel too. So, you know, the mental part of the game in pool is huge. You know, you're out there by yourself, you're sitting for long periods of time, kind of thinking about what's happening in the match, and you know, the best players in the world, they find a way to overcome all that stuff, and I think they're naturally stronger just by skill and the natural confidence that develops with that. But you're only talking about 10% of the players in the field, really. Everyone else is going through these mental battles all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing fuels the self-belief more than picking up trophies.
Vogel looking good now.
Not only Vogel is dominating his match, all of his compatriots in with a big lead. So in the end, it could be a very convincing win for what we considered the favorites coming into this match anyway.
Yeah, I noticed that Stefan Kasper played in the match they lost, and now they brought Yuma Dorner in. So having that luxury of mixing it up a little bit if they choose. Dorner's ahead 5-2 against arguably the strongest player on the Czech side, Roman Heibler.
And might also have something to do with the order of play, the schedule. Maybe Stefan has to play single elimination right after this, so he had the luxury, like you said, to say, "Look, guys, I really need to focus on my match." So, Yuma, you're up next.
Two balls down, see if the 6 ball makes it. It does. Similar situation for Vogel here, where he has to run into a ball off the first shot. See what he can control towards the 3. Well, he can maybe draw around it. He's actually looking at running into it. Looks different from both angles, Arya. Here it looks like he has to run
Yeah.
into it. On the other one, it looks like he could draw around it. Yeah, he can draw.
Well, you did spot it immediately. It was a tricky positional shot.
shot, a little out of control with the 5. It's going to end up decently. I have a hard time holding position for the 6 here. Safe behind the 8-9's the percentage play on this one. But he is having a look at the pocketing. Could bring the cue ball in the same path as if he was playing safe, but just all the way around them and back towards 6. Didn't want to run into the 9, but it's in the pocket. So getting the rolls now, too. Smiles from Vogel. Opposite from Febr. Yeah, Urban just kind of let the match go at the beginning. That was the main flaw for him in this one.
Yeah, you made that valid point, Eric. He had, I'd say, 4 opportunities on Felix's break in the beginning of the match. He failed to convert most of them.
Tobias Bonger is also in a comfortable lead in Zalman, 6-1. So Germany looking good to get into the last 16 here. Teams advancing to the final 16 already are Finland, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Poland, Netherlands. Waiting for 2 more to come through on the winner's side and 8 more to join them from the loser's side. Well, Urban looking for his second break-in run of the match. Open the match off with a break-in run. This is no good, though. Gonna have to come into a short area on the right side of the table.
Seems like a pattern, hasn't it been, Eric? Towards the 8 and the 9, his cue ball has sometimes let him down.
Yeah, and really those should be the easier shots. There's less balls on the table at that point. It's behind the 9 here. But we're going to try and hit the left side of the 8 coming off the rail. Just creating distance here. Left side of the 8 actually gives him a chance to cut it directly in the pocket. Top side of it, just left it for Urban.
Yeah, I don't think Felix will be too bothered by that in any shape or form, because let's not forget, Petr had a great chance to run out the rack. And sure, he'll win the rack, but, you know, it does not intimidate you when your opponent is still needing 2 or 3 chances per rack.
Yeah, and 2 break-in runs in succession for Vogel here, so looking to make it 3 and out. 2 balls down immediately. Legal break, and he's on the 3. Made some good adjustments going into the latter part of the match. Adjusting his break nicely. He's hit them perfectly over the last 3 breaks.
Yeah, that's a great observation, Eric. Now, I'm not so sure whether we are still on time. The original schedule was, well, little less than 13 minutes from now. The next matches, that might seem a bit ambitious. But one thing is for sure, don't go anywhere. We have a lot more pool action coming your way.
Few positional options from the 6 to the 7. Middle of the table nice and open. Last real shot Vogel has to make here. Slightly underdrawn here, Arya.
Yeah. I'd have to play this with a bit of left spin just to check the cue ball. Just like so. Well, Eric, this result seemed ominous ever since he went 4x ahead, I would say.
Yeah. And Felix has shown fine form over the latter part of the match. Played pretty well overall. Urban will have some singles play left over the course of the week. There it is, Vogel taking down the match 9-3. Germany looking good to take this team match and move on to the single elimination stage in the team event. For Arya Sorabi, this is Eric Horlifson. And stay tuned, we have 3 more rounds of play coming up today. Talk to you soon.
jednu ozbiljnu. Max, dok se dosam.
On je ležan.
Dajte curu u sredinu, makar.
Ajde curu, ajde u sredinu.
Hvala.
A nisam ja kao ti.
Znači jedan set zagrijavanja svi i lagano kreće.
Da. A ti nisi.
Meča, molim vas, to odluči štapova.
Nikola.
Aha, može? Da, van. To ti je kraj.
stavljamo i onda ću... Hoćeli smo... Blizali smo. Šta sad, još jednom da...
Tamo rukujte se i onda na slaganje.
Šta?
Ajde stavite tamo da se...
Rukujemo se i slažemo.
Rukujete i onda samo ne morate pričati.
Ne, sam ćemo se rukovati ti slagati. Dobio sam. Čekaj. Vječaš je s rukovci.
Može, ajmo sad.
Može.
Ko razbije?
The EPBF European Pool Championships, and we've got another great matchup coming up between Team Bosnia and Herzegovina. They'll be facing Team Slovenia. On this particular table, we will be playing the 9-ball alternate break race to 9 with the 3-point rule in effect. We do have the 8-ball and the 10-ball on the tables next to this. And in the commentary booth for this match is myself, Tim de Ruiter, gladly joined by my good friend and colleague Arya Sorabi. Welcome, Arya.
Hi Tim, looking forward to this one.
Yeah,
And
this
the
young
nine
man at the table, definitely one of the young future prospects. Has already had quite some success in his younger years, you would say. But never too young to learn, and still has so much more in the tank. He's played a lot of hayball events also last year. He's played a bit of everything, really. So he's getting a lot of seasoning at the moment. The only thing that can get the better of him, and well, that also has to do with his age, obviously, is his emotions.
Likely to play safe here, Tim. Might even take on the bank here with an element of safety in mind.
Well, he's definitely found the element of safe. It's not a full safety though, but might be enough for Faruk Terzic to play the cue ball under the 596.
If you can get your cue ball tied in behind, it is a lovely target, Tim.
Yeah, you would say a little bit like this. He's played an excellent return, actually. And now with the 4-ball being so much off the rail, and all the other balls being so far away from the 4, it's not easy to make a hit and get the hook. So he's going aggressive on the jump cue. Cue ball's pretty close to the 5-ball though, so quite some elevation needed. Yeah, has left the 4-ball on. So the first real chance we will get to see from Terzic. Not too familiar with him, honestly. Not sure about Arya. Maybe he's already commentated on his matches before.
No, not yet, Tim. but I've done some research on his past results. A couple of quarterfinals is to this date his best achievement. He looks like a young man to me, so he's still got a lot of time to improve on that record, of course. Not really sure why Max is asking the referee to have a look at this shot. I mean, he's cueing away on the 6. It's not a full ball angle. Don't really see the value of getting a referee here, but
I do actually see the value. I mean, the only thing is I kind of think it's quite obvious. If the cue ball gets more pace, then if the cue ball flies right through it, it's going to be a foul. You don't really need the ref, but on the other side, officially, if Terzic would make a double hit and he says, no, it was a good hit, Max cannot take ball in hand. The shooter is right, so that's why, just to make sure you cannot argue, the referee came into play. And he's missed the 7 ball by quite a bit there, Arya.
yeah, that's very discouraging. And you can see he's a bit shook by that, Tim. And like I said, it's very discouraging when you miss a pot by that much.
Yeah, the opening rack going to Max Benko. Already quite a interesting opening rack. Seen both good shots and some very poor misses, honestly. Hopefully that doesn't really hurt them mentally to where we're going to see more misses. Hopefully they can step it up a little bit. Of course, it's the team event. There's 3 matches going on at the same time. It's a race to 2 match points per country, so who knows? This match could, for example, not finish, or this might be the decider. Yeah, what a shot he's just played. Cue ball and the 1 ball nicely controlled. Now, still some work to do though, from the 3 to the 5. You gotta be careful not to run himself safe behind the 7 ball on the 3. Oh, it's come up short. No more cut. We'll have to play the bank. It's either that or a safety behind the 7.
Yeah. He's actually considering the bank here, Tim. And understand why. This is a very thin cut, and sure, you can make the pot, but how do you control the cue ball?
Yeah, played a bit of a two-way still. I don't think he's played it completely aggressive enough to give himself a chance on the bank. Could have still played a safety on the top side of the 7, so Terzic at the table with a decent safety opportunity to play the split, the long rail to long rail save. I think I would try to push the 3 ball up to the 7. The cue ball nicely 2 rails with the 5. Yeah, going airborne, trying to catch the left side. Oh, he's touched the 5-9. If the 5 didn't go, it definitely opened up now.
Yeah, double whammy there, Tim. And this is a great chance now for Farouk to put that mistake to the back of his mind. In all honesty, Tim, at this level, ball in hand, with this type of layout, you really need to make the most out of it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this young man still needs to settle down on this TV table. Haven't seen him play on the TV tables very often, so maybe first time, who knows. And it's a big moment for his country, so early nerves. If he can get this rack done. He missed the 5 ball though.
Again, Tim, the miss. Have a look at this. It's not even threaded in the pocket. It's not hit a jaw. This is concerning. Although, Max Benko.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was very unexpected too.
Collector's item for this straight shooter.
Yeah, very weird start to this match actually, Arya. If you look at the first 2 racks. Some really nice shots, but then also shocking misses.
Yeah, you literally took the words out of my mouth there. But I'll tell you what, let's just manifest that it's only the beginning of the match, and after this rack we'll see the true potential of both players. Might have to go around the table now.
Yeah, we can definitely manifest the idea of how to finish the match in a great class way. Then looking back at the start of this match, that is indeed a very good point. And that's also what you should do as a player, but it's sometimes so difficult to just forget all the mistakes you've made in the beginning of a match.
Yeah, look, in ball sports, particularly in individual ball sports, tennis, pool, snooker, I must have forgot a few of them. You really need a short-term memory. You cannot dwell on mistakes. You're going to make mistakes more often than not, so just get on with it and accept that, you know, that's in the past. And even though his positional shot here on the 8 was not perfect, he made that difficult 9. Let's see if he can produce, although actually it's Max at the table. Let's see if Max can produce a break and run. And that might actually spur on his opponent. Is it a legal break though, Tim?
No, I wouldn't think so. But let me
No, it
rewatch
is.
this for a second.
2 and 8 is off the table, and the 7 is past the head string. So yeah.
Oh, of
it
course.
is
Yeah, he's made 2 balls. Yeah, I thought he only made 1. Okay, yeah, we got them. I mean, I guess everybody struggles with this at times. The players do too, so 3-point rule. Every ball on the break is a point, and every ball crossing the kitchen line, the line on the top side of the table, is another point, and you gotta get at least 3 points to be able to continue.
I gotta say, Tim, least important factor in the match, but I do like the shirt and the design of the shirts of Bosnia. Looks very slick.
Yeah, it does represent their country's colors well, indeed. Yeah, for the Netherlands, we never really had this problem because, well, just make something orange and it's Dutch. So, quite simple. He's going for the jump cue here. The cue ball will be hopping into the 1. Yeah, and that is usually what happens. The cue ball has to land after the 3 ball, and it still comes into the 1 with the hop. Super tough jump to play. Didn't like it as much.
He is on a shot clock, and he's only got, well, what is it, 13 seconds left? Needs to make up his mind. Yeah, he took his extension.
Yeah,
It'll
but
take forever.
you gotta say, though, to take an extension on the ball in hand, you don't know what's gonna happen in this rack. If you run out of shape once and the shot gets a bit tougher, now you kind of are rushed to take it on.
Yeah, and it's not like the layout is sitting that difficult that you really need to be ultra precise. So I agree with you, Tim. Not really sure why he needed that much time, but look, he's at the table. And It'll be all in the past and mean nothing as long as he can take care of these 5 remaining balls. Likely to punch this off the reel. Yeah, he's potted that one a bit thicker than required, and he's run out of position subsequently. Actually, I need to correct myself. He potted that one thinner from that angle, in fact, not thicker. This was thicker, and he's left it on. Yeah, bad misjudgment there on the 5. Maybe disappointed. He's had, well, we've only been playing 3 racks, but he's had, I would say, 4, maybe 5 chances already.
Oh. 50-yard line?
Yeah, well, the thing I noticed is he withdrew his cue immediately as soon as he hit the cue ball, which indicates he didn't follow through as smoothly as he would normally do. Well, safely in.
Yeah, what a mistake from Farouk. Do you think he might have made a mistake running out of time? As we've seen him take his extension on the ball in hand early.
No, I mean, he just, potted the 5 a bit thinner and he hit it hard, so simply the side rail surprised him. But really, there's no excuse for missing from that layout, Tim. We know at this level, those are the type of opportunities. It's a must-get. It's non-negotiable. You just have to get them. It's that simple. If you want to have a realistic chance, these are the type of layouts that, all of the title contenders, 99, maybe 98 times out of 10, out of 100, would take out.
Yeah, it was indeed quite the must. And actually a great break following. Oh. Just fluked it in. Does have another bank on the 2. Run the cue ball 3 rails around.
Well, Tim, would it be an unfair statement to say he's not up to the races so far?
Yeah, I kind of feel like Max is getting it handed on a platter so far. And it's dangerous. I mean, when he hits the gear, he's very fluent and fast and confident. And you have to kind of pressure him a bit. And that's not what Farouk has been doing so far. So now 3-1. As you can see, it looks like Farouk is leaving the arena because, well, he obviously would want to play a lot better than he actually did in the start of this match. Missing that bank and just immediately giving another rack. So Arya and myself, we're gonna take a short break too. In the meantime, we're probably gonna give you a nice look at table 2 between Sanjin Perlivanovic and Miha Vicic Snajdar. And we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Predator EPBF European Pool Championships. This is Bosnia against Slovenia. And on this particular table we have Farouk Terzic facing Max Banco. Max to break the balls. Currently leading 3-1. And as you can see, Tim de Ruiter and Arya Sorabi in the box. Welcome back, Arya.
Thanks, Tim. Well, if you've just joined us right now, Nice to have you with us. The complexion of this match so far is about, well, surprising misses. And that 5 ball is touching the kitchen line, so they're just double checking whether that is enough for the 3-point rule. Yeah, so as I was saying, this match we've had a lot of turnovers. Both players have had easily 2 chances per rack, if not even more. So the scoreline you're seeing is the player at the table has failed to capitalize on any mistakes by his opponent. And of course, Tim, both you and I know as former players, it is very exhausting when you're out there and, well, your game has just more or less left you.
Yeah, I think it's one of the tough things to do mentally is to tell yourself, well, I absolutely sucked in the beginning of this match, but from this point I can only play better and I'm still going to be going for a good finish. I mean, that's really tough to do, knowing that, well, you had an open layout and you might have missed the second ball. Like, mentally, it's always challenging.
Yeah, like you say, mentally you need to give yourself words of affirmation. Although, yeah, he's just traveled far enough. I thought for a second he was hampered by the 7. Now, ideally, he would like to leave himself an angle on the 8 to go forward with the cue ball. Requires a bit more touch on the shot.
Oh, he has done nicely. Came up with a big stroke on the 4 to the 5 as well. So a couple of good shots. Would like to see him close this down, reducing the score a little bit, and try to make this a match. Just giving the initiative a bit to the young man in the chair, Max Benko.
Nice run out there, Tim. So if he can build on to this, he's still got some time left in this match. He's only 1 rack behind.
Yeah, illegal break. Just making 1 ball and 1 ball passing the kitchen line. Break has been a little rough on both players. Not every break, but not been hitting it so consistent. And well, he's left chance on the 1, the 2 ball indeed next to it, the 3 and the 4 next to each other. Just gotta make sure from the 2 to the 3 ball he leaves himself angle.
Has to be a little bit careful with his cue ball here. He can easily lose his cue ball. Nicely played. Landed on the wrong side here of the 5. Not so sure whether he wants to run into the 8 or go around it. Yeah, so a little thinner on the 7, but this seems like a pretty comfortable shot to me, Tim.
Yeah, a bit of an important run out that was for Banco, trying to still keep that 2-game distance. Now on the other table, actually, Sanjin Perivanovic already won his match 8-1 against the Miha Vicic Snajdar. And Aydin Piknac currently trailing 3-2 against Ana Gradisnik. So there's still hope for Slovenia, but they will have to win this match and the one on table 3 all the way in the back. As you can see, Piknac at the table. Yeah, starting to break the balls harder just to try and get that 3-point rule going. But sometimes it's not a matter of hitting it harder exactly. Sometimes it's the aiming, sometimes it's like you can try more spin, cut the ball more, cut the ball less spin, center ball, just draw. And it does react different on the balls too. Good hit. And actually, a little bit of luck not to leave something on the one ball. Gotta say, bit shocked to see Banco like this at the table. Complaining a bit about the leave on this one ball. Well, things could always be worse. If you think about it, you're up 4-2. No reason to complain, right?
Not per se, no. I suppose as a player, you're always concerned with your own form and your performances at the table. Safe to say, neither of the two players have played anywhere near their best. Needs to be precise here on the 5. And you'll have to play the 5 with a bit of pace just to get this cue ball up the table.
Yeah, has played it well.
Yeah, like you alluded to earlier, he's looking to run away with this match without having to do anything spectacular, and well, you might actually see him open up a bit more and go towards a fast finish, and they will need it because they're trailing as a team. I'll tell you what, Tim, I would try to cut this in the side.
Well, he does too, but I'm playing this into the corner. Yeah, slightly things looking good for Slovenia on this match. 5-2 now. Max Panko leading. And 3 each between Piknac and Gradisnik. Well, chosen a completely different kind of break. He's actually moved the cue ball inwards. But, I mean, cannot count out this result though. One ball over the corner is made 2 balls. Just to get from the 3 ball to the 5 it's gonna cost him quite some effort, I feel. I mean, he's gotten a bit straighter on this too, so he will have to stun out. Has to work a little bit more. No, he was trying to hold it. Cannot believe he's missed that 2 ball area.
Yeah, I do not want to feel sorry for ourselves, Tim, but it's got to the point where you're very reluctant to say anything because you just don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this match has definitely turned into a grind, and well, I mean, it's still sometimes it's beautiful to see 2 players struggle a lot and still fighting with everything they have to get a certain result. But I gotta say, it's a bit rough sometimes to look at. But I'm sure they will agree too. I mean, nobody's gonna win this match and say, "Oh no, I played well." You know, that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, if the scoreline would have been 8-8 or 8-7, I completely agree. But 5-2, it feels like a long way.
Extension.
That being said, Max Benko creeping closer to the finishing line. And as Tim has said earlier, Sanjin Pelivanovic, the flag carrier, you would say, for Bosnia, he's won his first match. So Bosnia has secured a point, and Slovenia needs to reply to keep this match alive, this team match.
Yeah, in the meantime, Gradisnik now 4-3 up against Aydin Pikniac, and Pikniac taking a timeout on that table. So, gotta say, things are looking pretty good for Slovenia so far, which, I mean, it sounds weird because they have lost a point already. But the other 2 matches are looking in their favor.
Well, Tim, no cut break there, and funny enough, it might have been his best break so far.
But to then miss that 1 ball.
Yeah, it's just been that sort of a match, hasn't it, Tim? Are the teammates even allowed to try and say something, help their compatriots?
Well, I'm quite sure they can say something like, "Come on, Farouk," or "Let's go, Bosnia," but nothing really too deeply. I mean, coaching on the side is not allowed, even though it's team players. Then still,
Yeah, so the core to my question was, is any sort of coaching allowed? And you mentioned that is not allowed. He has left himself this bank on the 4. And nothing to do with the cue ball, of course. If you can make this 4 bank, the 5, 6 and the 7 are looking pretty straightforward. So you would think one good position from the 7 to the 8 if he makes this bank. And he'll go even further in front.
Well, does the 4 pop out? Yes, it has. And this is exactly what we were talking about, right? Just they both cannot get a grip on this match. It was a straight bank. And I think he was trying to play a stop shot and yet just didn't cue it nice enough. Like he seems to struggle just with the stroke, with the table probably.
Yeah, it is a horrible position to be in. Let's not make any secrets about that. When you sometimes have a patch in the match where both players can't really make more than 2-3 shots in a row, well, it really takes out a lot of energy, mental energy if anything, out of you. Yeah, lost his cue ball. That should have been, like you can see, a lot lower on the table. This cutback is a nasty angle, Tim.
Yeah, this is quite a cut, and he might have to play this with some outside spin too to even get on the 8 ball. Oh, looks good though. How's the cue ball? Well, stays on the table, but yet you might have to opt to play the 9 in the center, and that is no cookie either on these tables.
You might have to just roll it in and take that option you just mentioned. Well, that's not a roll. In fact, he landed awkward here. He might even take the bank. It's looking like he's going directly into the right center pocket. Nicely done. Well, reduces the deficit to only 3 racks.
Yeah, a little bit of brightness after all the darkness, you would say, for Terzic, making that cut onto the 9. But yet, the break really just not working. Like he's moved the cue ball now a bit. I can see he's trying different things, but he just hasn't found it yet. And now a combination. There is a ball hanging over the corner, so definitely he's going to try and cut this all along the long rail.
Max seems to have done this with a bit more pep in his step. So I'm wondering if he's told himself mentally, let's get on with it.
He is quite the rhythm player, I feel like, because he works his routine, but he does it in a, it's like a jumpy way. Not jumpy. It sounds that sounds bad, but he does it in a quite. It's like a dance, you know. Like he looks at the shot, goes back, 1-2. You know, like everything is like timed so well, and if he takes the pace off of that whole routine, that's where, you know, the stroke can get shaky.
Yeah, I mean, considering how the match has gone, it really feels like it is his to lose, considering the lead he's had ever since, well, 4 racks played.
Well, a bit further away from the 7 area. A bit more of a tester on the cueing. I mean, to make the ball shouldn't be too tough.
Yeah. I like the energy he's now showing at the table. He's walking a bit faster, getting on with it. And, well, as you could see, he made that 7 pretty comfortable. So he might just have picked up his pace, gone up a gear at the right time. And let's not forget, he's only, after this 9 ball, 2 racks away for the victory.
Yeah, that's one thing that makes a difference in this match. I mean, I think Max hasn't been missing too many balls near the end of the rack. So every time he got like around the 7, 8 or 9, I don't feel like he's missed many of those where we've seen Farouk miss a couple near the end of the rack and kind of giving away the rack too. Probably the biggest difference so far in this match. And on the table in the back, Gadisnik back from the timeout. And I believe she's jumping the 8 now. That is possible. A 5-3 coming up. Now, legal break has made one. 2 balls in the kitchen. Shape on the 1 ball. Any trouble at the table, Aria?
Yeah, as we've just seen the replay. No, not really. But I'm not sure if the 5 passes the 6. So that could potentially be one of the balls where you have to play pinpoint precision. Other than that, I mean, even when the 5 is, look, you can just put the 3 and take the 5 into the side. So to answer your question, no.
Yes, indeed. This is all lined up so nice. Just connecting the dots. A little bit of traveling indeed from the 7 to the 8 and the 8 to back down on the 9, but should definitely be able to carry that.
Pardon me, Tim. If you've been following in this match ever since the beginning and you're wondering what would I do in this position, well, it was clear that both players were struggling, and what Max Benko has seemed to have done is he's picked up his pace, and this is definitely a very sensible tactic to try whenever you are in a match where it's very tough work. Sometimes just to loosen up and play a bit faster and a bit more attacking can actually be the leeway towards, you know, higher level.
Well, making a big difference now. Suddenly, you can feel like he stepped it up in the past, what is it, 10, 15 minutes?
Now on the hill, 5 racks in front. It would be very hard for him to lose this match with alternate break, Tim.
Yeah, must be one of the most difficult thing to do. I mean, 5 racks, so tough to overcome, but not impossible. Nothing is impossible. Yeah, makes the one ball straight into the side. He was breaking from the opposite side. Now he switched over, and yet still illegal. Don't think he has left something to go aggressive on this 2 ball, but maybe a stop shot behind the 9. Or is he going aggressive? I don't think there's any future in it.
Referee keeping a close eye on this. Yeah, so he's likely to play safe off the 3 ball here. If he can be getting tight in behind the 5, can really force a mistake here for his opponent.
Yeah, perfect
The 7.
save.
Yeah, the 7 will also work. Like you said, this is a very good safety. Long jump. Risky shot, Tim. And that was one of the risks.
Yeah, I gotta say it's a bit unlucky though, because usually you would go, when you hit it a bit thinner, you go straight into the corner. But to have like a little stun run, cue ball slowly dragging into the corner, it's just, that was a little bit unlucky though. Not the best hit on the jump, but could have left a lot worse. And now these 7 balls to get Slovenia a point on the board. This is an interesting shape actually, to find the window between the 7-9. So he has to go to the short side of the 5. But at least he's swinging to get that point for Slovenia. And then it's all about table 3 between Aydin Pikniac and Ana Gradisnik. They are tied at 4 in a race to 8. Oh.
A total decel. Yeah. Well, you called it. He plays this cue ball in a interesting spot.
Played this well. How's the pace though? I think it stopped just in time. Now you can choose. This is a preference thing. You could play with just a drip of inside spin, crossing straight over between the side and the 8. Some like to play with top left to make sure you cross past the side pocket. Well, I actually didn't see the low left coming, but it's done well.
Yeah, I think the scoreline might have also opened up Farouk his back arm. He knows realistically he does not have a great chance to turn this over, so might as well just play loose.
Yeah, it always feels so stupid when that happens actually. Because now probably the first thing he's gonna ask himself when he drops that 9 ball in, he goes, and why can I do it now and not 30 minutes ago? Like, it's a funny thing. Yeah, I mean, if you look realistically, it's not like there's a lot of breaker runs. So even though Farouk is down 8-4 and he has to fade a lot of breaks from Benko, in this particular match, I truly think he has a chance if he manages to win all the racks. Like, don't miss a ball. I mean, it's a lot to ask from a player, but I mean, I've seen 8-4 score lines where players really did not have any chance anymore. Like, they were just buried. Oh, I was gonna say he's fluked once like that before. Not this time.
Yeah, it's funny how the second rail tends to check up. Like you said, he had a fluke quite similar to that, but this one has stayed out, and I'm just wondering, how does Max get onto the 2 ball here? Well, that's your answer.
Well, it's now checking for 5-9 combination area, so might not even have to run the whole rack.
Yeah, nicely spotted, Tim. So, one good positional shot. And the end might be very near.
Gotta say, there is a bit of space between the 5 and the 9, so with a bit of a shaky back end, if you put a little bit of spin left or right, it actually transfers onto the 5, so could still go wrong. As you can see, he still has to cut the 9 a bit more as well with the 5. So I would like to ideally get as close as possible, not on the rail. More distance though. But he'll be swinging for the win and a point for Team Slovenia. That would make the score go 1 each. And then I guess everybody will have to hop over real fast to table 3 to get the ending of the Anna Gradisnik against Aydin Pikniac match, where Anna is leading 5-4. Yeah, and down goes that 9. Quite sure both players will not be too happy with their performance, but yeah, as you can see, clearly not happy. But for now, it's Max Benko winning Slovenia the point, and we still have Aydin Piknjac and Ana Gradisnik on table 3 for you guys to enjoy. We do have another round coming for tonight that will start in an hour and a half. So I would love to welcome you back at Pro Billiard TV very soon. And for now, I would like to thank my colleague Arya Sorabi to be by my side. My name is Tim de Ruiter. So hopefully we'll get to see you very soon.